Well, there might not be many photos or videos today. Just wanted to give you an update as to why. This is what we woke up to, being in a cloud. This is about the visibility we've had all day. Probably 50 to 100 yards. Yeah, so the good news is the temperature's nice and cool. The bad news is my tent's been wet for, well, today's day 3. And it doesn't look like we're gonna get a chance to dry her out. So that's the downside. The other downside is that my ankle hurts. This shoe rubs. I've got some kind of bony ankles on the outside, and when I pick my foot up, pick my toe up, do dorsiflexion, or when I pronate, the outside of my ankle bone kind of pushes down into my shoe, and it's uncomfortable, and it's been that way since I started wearing these shoes. And now it is causing a problem. The pressure there, I believe, is causing inflammation of the tendons underneath the skin that are supposed to freely go by and move from one spot to another as they tension and loosen as I use my ankle. So I put a Swedish dishcloth underneath my heel to try to raise that up, and that's relieved the pressure a little bit. And for the first time after more than 2,000 miles of hiking, I have taken ibuprofen for a overuse thing. I've taken it before on this trip twice. Once was for a headache, and once I think was for a bruise. So it was hiking related, but it wasn't a use related thing. It was a bruise on my foot. Also, it's been about 10 days since I kicked that rock and hurt my pinky toe, and it still hurts, which makes me think potentially I might have broke something in there. There's not a lot you can do about a broken pinky other than rest, and that's not going to happen. But honestly, maybe having these shoes with a tight toe box is a good thing. It's kind of putting it in a cast, keeping it from going anywhere. I don't know. But, you get little things like this, like that, just things to hike through. My biggest concern is really just my ankle. And my biggest concern with the pain medicine is that I'm taking it more for the anti-inflammatory purposes, because I think the main issue, the pain isn't bad. It's uncomfortable, but it's not bad. It's not your teeth bad or anything like that. It's just annoying. It's a nuisance. So the medicine is just for the anti-inflammation. Try and get that tendon a little less angry. So we'll see, but my concern is that the pain will be dampened from the medicine, and then I have an issue that gets worse. So I'm going to try and monitor it as best I can, and we'll see how it does. But we are looking pretty good for this challenge. Unfortunately, I did have some service yesterday, texted back and forth with Shortcut, and he had a tendon issue in his calf or something like that, in his lower leg, that slowed him down. So he's probably not going to catch up with me. He's still going to try to make the challenge, but he is a little bit behind and might need to hike through the night to get there. And the girls passed him, or at least lost and founded. But then they had to go into Shelter Cove, so I think he's back ahead of them. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm out ahead, I think, by a decent margin, which, it's not a race. I don't really care. But I want to get to... I've been doing a little bit bigger days than I have to, in hopes of earning a little bit of time at Timberline Lodge. So right now it's looking like I'm gonna get there not tomorrow, but the following afternoon. And I should be able to spend a decent amount of time there and then hike out after a big dinner buffet. If I do like 5 or 10 miles, that would be fine. That would put me with 30 or less for Wednesday, which will be my last full day. And then Thursday, I already know I'm gonna camp right at a junction or I'm gonna try to get there to camp at this junction for the Rock Creek or Rock Tunnel alternate. This is a really cool waterfall and alternate going into Cascade Locks that I'm planning on taking. So right now, that's kind of the plan. So, I don't know, probably 14, 12 miles into the day, something like that. Had a little bit of a slowdown this morning with a couple hundred blowdowns that we were climbing over. Luckily, that has been cleaned up and is behind us now, I believe. There's been one or two here or there, but there's been a lot of burn areas. One of the burn areas, there are trees falling as their roots decay, and that turns into not fun time. So it is what it is, but we're making it. That's all for now. Until next time. All right, it is probably well past time for an update. It is August 10th, a little after 7 in the morning. and I've got probably about 8 miles to hike to to the Bridge of the Gods, to Washington, to complete this challenge. So I've got 5 hours and probably about 3 hours worth of hiking to do. So we are on pace, and we've got a little extra time, which is good because the side trail that I'm on, I knew it had tunnel falls I just went through, which was really, really cool. But I didn't know that's probably the most talked about, the coolest one, I would imagine, on the side trail. But there've just been a ton of waterfalls all morning. I think I've probably seen about half a dozen waterfalls in the past 2 miles, which has been really cool. So yeah, this side trail, can't recommend it more. The way down was not a whole lot of fun. Going down pretty steep, about 1,000 feet a mile for 2 or 3 miles to get down from the trail down here into this valley. But after that, it hasn't been so bad. There's the trail's a bit rocky, but there have been some cool spots where, you know, you can tell the trail had to be blasted out of a rock face. You can see where the charges were to blast it, and it's kind of cool. But yeah, so as far as an update goes, Timberline Lodge was great. Didn't get a buffet, which was kind of disappointing, but the lodge itself was really cool to hang out at for a couple of hours. Got to charge up some phones, get a hot meal, you know, do the things. And it was really good. Got my picture with the "Here's Johnny" axe, and, you know, the only thing that I think I would have liked to have had and didn't is a buffet, but that is what it is, you know. I got there after it closed and before the breakfast, wasn't willing to stay until the breakfast the following morning because of this challenge, so had to make kind of a tough choice and skip that. That was something I was kind of looking forward to. Peach said it was really good, so maybe I'll live vicariously through her when I catch up with her later today. Speaking of Peach, I believe she is the only one of our group. Not sure if I talked about this or not, so if I did, I apologize, but I think she's the only one other than me that's looking at completing the challenge. There were 4 of us who started out, but Shortcut's got a tendon thing in his calf and he's slowed down, and Lost and Found unfortunately got really, really bad shin splints and had to get off trail. So that's it. There are 2 that remain. So yeah, I haven't seen Peach in over a week, but we're doing the challenge together. I've been up ahead just a little bit, but I have heard from her, so I know she's not far behind, and I'm not sure if she's taking this alternate or the red line, but either way, I think my plan is to get up close to the Bridge of the Gods, and then the trail kind of goes right through town. I'm hoping I can find a place to eat and sit there and wait for Peach, and then if we could finish together, I think that'd be pretty cool. So we shall see. Not sure if that'll happen or not, but that's kind of plan A. But either way, I'm going to enjoy this beautiful morning. When we get to Cascade Locks, I'm going to take an epic picture of me at the Bridge of the Gods, and then I'm going to eat as much town food as I can possibly fit in my belly and not think about anything else other than how much food is good. That's my plan for the day. Also, that might be a little bit incentivized by the fact that I did not bring extra food this resupply. I won't say I didn't bring enough. I have 2 Pop-Tarts for breakfast this morning, and I've got 1 thing of ramen in my food bag. And that is all the food that I have. So, yeah. If I had a couple extra things to munch on last night, I probably would have. I was pretty hungry, ended up making a second dinner, made some ramen after. I had 2 ramen packets and made one of them yesterday after my first dinner because I was still hungry. So definitely ready for some town food. It's been too long. Other than that burger at Timberline Lodge or pulled pork sandwich, I don't think I've had a hot town meal since Crater Lake, so that was like 400 miles ago. I think we're overdue. So I am rambling now, so I will shut up. Until next time.